Hey guys, welcome back. And we're going to try to get through verses 9 and 10 of Proverbs chapter 3. All right, so I'm going to be reading from the New King James translation of my keyword Hebrew and Greek study Bible. So let's go. It says, "Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase." Okay, so your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow with new wine. All right, so our key words in verse 9 is honor and first fruits. And what does that mean? So when we look at the original Hebrew context, okay, to honor is there's two different meanings. You can go more negative connotation, more positive connotation. So the negative connotation means to be a burden, to be burdensome, to be weighed down in that negative sense. But we're talking about honoring the Lord, right? So who wants to treat the Lord as if he is a burden? Not me. Okay? But we want to honor him. We want to lift up. So how do we go from that burden to, honor and lift up? And when you think about it, like when you go to the grocery store and you put your food on the scale, right? The more you put on the scale, the lower and lower the scale gets, right? Because it's heavy. And that's what God wants from us. He said, honor the Lord with your possessions. So, whatever your possessions may be, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's resources, whether it's a skill set, you sew, you dance, you're great with computers, but maybe you're a great teacher or an encourager. Okay, whatever those possessions are that the good Lord has given you, you want to put those, okay, on that scale of honor, and you just want to keep piling on and keep piling on and keep piling on, okay, because we want to honor God with our possessions. And we're going to just be like, God, you have just blessed me so much here. This is just a little bit of what I can give back to you. Here is my time. Here are my talents. Here is, my availability to just sit and pray with someone, whatever that might be. Okay, but we want to honor God with the things that he has gifted us. And like on that grocery scale, we just want to keep pouring it on and pouring it on and pouring it on, obviously to his glory, not to our own, like, ha ha ha, you see what I did? No, but because God deserves it. Like, it's the least we can do in terms of honoring God is giving back to him, like what he has given to us. And so when we look at the word first fruits, like honestly, when I first read this a few days ago, the word tithe came to mind, and I know it's not a tithe, guys, but what does that mean? And so it talks about being number one, okay? In terms of time, in terms of position, in terms of, let me read it to you guys so y'all don't think I'm talking out the side of my head, which I can do. I am talented. Oh, don't rip my pages. All right. First, in place, time, order, or rank, the beginning, the best, the chief, first and foremost, principal thing, prominent, okay? First fruits of your what? Increase, okay? God is not going to take what we need and leave us destitute. Like that's the God that he is. But he has blessed us with so much. Okay? Physically, mentally, emotionally, he has blessed us with so much. So what in our increase are we giving back to him? And he wants us to give to him our first fruits, the best, the chief principal thing. But here's the kicker about the word first fruits, our translation of first fruits. Okay? In the original Hebrew, the word is pronounced reshith. Okay? Now I have a plate in, so I know that's gonna, make my pronunciation a little bit funky, but reshith. And what's important about reshith? in the original Hebrew, okay, of our good word, Reshith is the very first word written in the Bible, in the beginning. Okay, and now I know in Hebrew sometimes the words have words hidden inside, and I just watched the video that talks about the full meaning of that word. And if I can find it, I will link it or put it in the comments. But it's the very first word of the Bible. So when you think about God saying, hey, honor me with the first fruits of your increase, why? Because that's what he did for us. He gave us his first fruit, the very best of who he was. He gave it to us here. It is the first word, Hebrew word of the Bible. So if God can give us the best of what he has, why can't we do the same thing for him? Just a question, something to think about. All right, so honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits, the best of what you have, okay, of all your increase. Why? So your barns may be filled with plenty, like he promises to bless, in a sense, essentially is what it's communicating. If we give to him, he promises to pour back into us. And then it says, and your vats will overflow with new wine. Okay, so the key word in verse 10 was the word vat. And I'm like, okay, well, what's a vat? The vat is like your wine press. And for me, like I thought about Gideon. When Gideon was found by the angel of the Lord, he was inside the wine press and he was threshing his wheat because he was hiding from the Midianites, right? So here's a grown man inside this container. So you know it had to be big. But what I did not know is that vats had two levels. You had the part that you put the grapes in, and then you had the part where the juices flowed in that collected all the juice. So he's like, so your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow. When you think of a container that's big enough to hold a full-grown man threshing wheat, and it's filled not just to the brim, but filled to overflowing with new wine and new blessings. So much so that that container, which was already big, it like cannot hold what God has in store for us. So that was just really mind-blowing, guys. So honor God, because he's like, if you pour your heart to him, right? Look at what he will give you in return. And that's not meaning like we don't treat God like an exchange, okay? He's not Western Union. We're not exchanging one thing for the other. But he will bless and he will honor the sacrifices that you give unto him. So that's what we got, guys, for verse 9 and verse 10. Cannot wait to get into 11. We'll see you in the next video. Okay? Bye.